What's up, listener? Thanks for pressing play. Now, I usually don't mention the episode number in these intros, but I gotta call this out. This is a special occasion. On episode 200
Wowie zowie!
of the Jock and Nerd Podcast, we review the most polarizing and perplexing Star Wars movie to date, Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. Friend of the show and artist John Bellotti Jr. joins us for this full spoiler review and discussion.
Spoiler alert.
As we try to figure out what this movie is. Yeah, all of this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, December 21st, 2017.
Hey, what's up? It's Taylor Gray, the voice of Ezra Bridger on Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Give it up, what's up?
Yo, what's up, listener? Hello. Thanks for joining us. And for the 200th time, welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And he's the rug boy. Good earth to your rugs. What's up?
What's up, motherfuckers? 200.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, rolling.
Yeah.
We're bicentennial. We're bi now.
We are bi-curious, bicentennial, bisexual, all of those things. Wait, what happened?
Hey, we're progressive.
We're very progressive. We fit in perfectly with today's time and day. Joining us for this very special 200th episode is a guy that works in the entertainment industry. He is an amazing artist, and he is my favorite opinionated New Yorker. It's Mr. John Bellotti Jr. What's up, Bellotti?
Good evening, fellas. How are you?
What's up, John?
Good evening to you.
I wanted you to be like, we got this guy. He's a Godzilla fan. It's John Bellotti. And it's like, what? Why would you have a Godzilla fan?
Yeah, really pigeonhole me.
He's a Godzilla
just pigeonhole
artist.
the shit out of him.
Pigeonhole me. That's all he does is Godzilla.
Pigeonhole him that one time.
Yeah,
Imran?
but I apologize for that, and now you just re-pigeonholed him. You re-hold him.
No, I'm reiterating what you've done in the past to this man.
He's fanning the flames of hate.
I don't recall.
Where he can't think straight because he likes something.
Senator, I do not recall. I do not recall this happening. Bellotti, dude, I'm really glad to have you back on. It's been a while since we've heard from you.
I know. My wife said it's been a while. There's been a lot of hit and misses lately, so I'm glad I'm finally able to rejoin you guys.
Well, we saw you when you came through G-Fest this year. That was a lot of fun.
That was a hell of a lot of fun.
That was a hell of a lot. And then you were the last time you were on, we did. It was Kong Skull Island. Remember that? Remember Kong Island, guys?
That felt like a long time ago.
I remember. It was this year.
Oh, I remember.
I remember Kong.
Oh, I remember. Remember when we were safe?
Remember when I could go outside and not get harassed for being brown? Remember that?
No,
but
that's never happened.
So it doesn't happen. Yeah, so look, it's episode 200. I don't know how this happened.
I didn't even realize it was 200 till just now.
Right? It just kind of sneaks up on you, and here we are. So you know what? No fanfare.
Like a little finger up the asshole. Just whoa.
Oh, feels great.
Hey.
Here,
Whoa,
I got. Here,
hey-o.
I'll give. We'll
Now
give
you're
it
in my world.
Finger up the slack hole. We'll give it this. There we go.
What
200.
the fuck is that?
That was our That was our 200 fanfare. I found it on the street. If you are a new listener, thanks for checking us out. This is the show where we geek out about comic book
like news, reviews, and interviews. You son of a bitch.
Why don't you do it, Anthony? Will you do it for me?
We
Look,
geek out about comic books, and we're comic book connoisseurs, and we're doing news, reviews, and interviews. It's the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Wow. My name's Imran.
Go stroke a barbell. That sounds exactly like Imran.
That was pretty good.
Like, I think I can't tell the difference.
that was pretty dead on. I think I might have to give you my job, and I will just sit and.
Can you do a good jock, Imran?
Not really, because he's just so laid back.
You have to just pretend you just came.
Yeah,
and then,
that's true.
And you're calm.
Just be like, what's the fuck it? I'm scrolling through my Snapchat. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's
Geek boner.
That's oops.
Are
Right.
you even podcast?
No, look, we're gonna get a lot of new listeners because we do these movie reviews. A lot of people, everyone wants to hear. Everybody thinks, especially a movie this divisive and polarizing. Of course, you've seen the title. We're going to talk about Star Wars: The Last Jedi, but. Look, subscribe to the show, and we are now on Spotify, so you can find us there and find us wherever podcasts are found. Bellotti, though, I wanted to have you tell the listener what you do because it's really cool, and it gives you a little bit of cred there.
Right now, I'm unemployed.
Well, you're on break, right? That's why you could do this. This is why it's so hard to get you.
Yeah, we have a very generous 3-week holiday break, but when I am back to work, I paint sets for films, TV, and Broadway. And right now, boner. Yes, it is bonerific. I've been on the TV show The Blacklist, starring Ultron himself, James Spader, for 5 seasons now. And that's what I've been doing for
That's awesome. That's awesome. And on the side, he's got some pretty sick Godzilla illustrations you can check out at robo7.com and buy some stuff. It's really good. But that's such a great job. I love hearing you tell people what you do all the time. Like, you work in the entertainment industry, my friend. A very valuable perspective. Do I? No, we just have
we're in the entertainment industry.
I guess.
People are being entertained.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I would like to think they're being entertained.
It's technically true. Technically.
So, like I said, on this show, we will review. It's going to be Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. It's been a crazy week for Star Wars fans and everybody. But before we do that, I got to say, somebody's having a birthday this week when the show posts. Ooh. Somebody's all grown up. Somebody is all adult, and it's Mr. Anthony. Happy early birthday, Anthony.
Whoa.
Hey.
Well, this show.
Happy birthday.
You're wrong. When this show comes out, I'll still be the same. I'll still be the same age I am currently.
But for 2 days, who listens to it like 2 days later?
How old will you be, Anthony?
21.
Oh man,
yes, this is the best
I will
part.
be celebrating my 21st birthday.
Oh, what does that mean? I want to hear you say it.
I'm gonna be the big 3-0.
Oh wow! Yeah, the boy's all grown up. He's grown
sucks
up.
Dick.
Nice.
Time to end it. I'm gonna shoot myself.
Wait for the gray pubes and then call me.
Not much left. It's all downhill.
Imran will walk you through it.
Yeah, I have a support group. I got brochures. Everything's fine.
I'm gonna
Don't
need
worry about it.
all the help I can get to get through this.
Look, check out the show notes, jockandnerd.com/200. Let's get to Star Wars.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
If you want to send Anthony a birthday message, just visit jockandnerd.com/contact because it has all the links to our Twitter, our Facebook page, email, SpeakPipe, and our wonderful Facebook group. I love everyone in the group. Welcome new member Zach Smith Watson joined this week.
I think everyone in the group is a pussy.
Oh boy. Well, Facebook group, you know what to do. I'm going to post the show there and point out and put the timestamp.
There you go.
And see how they respond.
What Anthony really thinks of the Facebook community.
What happened, Anthony? Why is this coming out?
I just want to say absurd things to these people.
He's trying to stir up shit, which is fine.
Oh.
Look, I got a couple of Facebook group updates. Turns out Steve and Lisa Morrison are married.
Oh, shit.
1 point. I got that one right. I didn't
Even a
blow it.
blind
Finally.
squirrel finds an acorn once in a while.
And you know what's funny? They're awesome. She posted in their relationship, she's the jock and he's the nerd. And I thought that was awesome also.
Okay.
Not going to touch that.
You don't see that all the time.
That makes more sense than the girl being the nerd, and
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And then David Zika, love the David Zika, posts this photo I will put in the show notes. Ruggs, he met your people. He posted this photo of about 40 puppets. Now, if you're a new listener,
yeah, I recognize some of these dudes.
Rug Boy is a felty American, which is the politically correct way to say Rug Boy's a puppet. And I know you're asking why is there a puppet on a podcast, audio podcast? And to that, I answer, why aren't there more puppets on audio podcasts?
Look, if you look carefully at this photo, you're going to notice that there is the same puppet repeats a bunch of times. He's the black dude with the ninja star on it.
I
right?
thought they were all related. Yes.
All right. So like, these are not like basically one and only original like I am. Like there's no other Rug Boy.
No, you'll never find another Rug Boy.
Because I'm a real person. All right, but this dude on the God one right next to him on the top, he's got my sandals. I got the same exact pair of sandals as that guy.
I wanted to know how many of those felties you banged, Rugs.
Listen, that none.
I definitely banged the dragon like at least 6 times.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, and the monkey and that thing that looks like a Muppet, I definitely had a 3-way with those two.
That white beard on that one guy, that's not hair, people. That
guy looks like Imran.
No, the Dalmatian looks like Imran.
The Dalmatian does look like, that's what I used to look like in my peak vitiligo days. That's correct, Andy.
And the one at the very bottom looks like Oates from Hall & Oates with the mustache.
I love this picture of felties. Thank you, David Zika. And,
it brings back a lot of memories from when I went to those retreats.
Yeah, there's a lot of sexual shenanigans.
We had retreats, we had activities. Trust falls, all that shit. Slack hole, punching, all that stuff.
Oh, it's like Snowball in high school that I went to. That's great. Finally, Jess Rivera, still not a girl. So let's get to Star Wars The Last Jedi review, which, boy, fellas, what a fucking week it's been for Star Wars. That's all I've been seeing Star Wars. That's all I've been hearing. And the fan response, if you could just comment on the fan response, it's been crazy. I've seen the whole variety. From best movie ever to this is the worst movie ever, and all different kinds of people with different reactions. It's crazy.
Right. Did you see that Mark Hamill even commented that he wasn't really into the way the story was
and he
laid
said
out for him?
He said earlier he didn't agree with what he was going to do with Luke in this movie, and he's like, this is not my Luke.
Yeah, so it's very divisive of a movie, I think.
Well, when you first did last week, when we did the audience score and the critic ratings, usually the audience just loves eating shit sandwiches and will like anything, and they'll always like something way more than the critics do. And this was not the case. The critics obviously really enjoyed this, and the audience score was extremely divisive.
I think Star Wars people and Star Trek people are very critical.
Yeah.
More than Marvel people, DC people, more than, I think. Because even when something's good, they don't like it.
Yeah, it's a little more hardcore.
Let's get into that. I think it's also because Star Wars, everyone, there's such long delays between these 3-part episodes that everyone has their thoughts on how it should go.
Yeah.
And they've been letting this fester for 15 years. Or in this case, even since the first 3 came out, because this is after. These take place in that timeline.
40 years, dude.
Yeah. So 40 years of speculation of where Luke would be and where Leia would be and all that. A lot to live up to.
First of all, who would have thought we'd be in the middle frame of a 3rd Star Wars trilogy 40 years after A New Hope came out? That in itself is nuts. But boy, you would have thought fucking Zack Snyder directed this movie. The way these hardcore Star Wars fandom has gone nuts over it.
Well, there's always extremes, right? There's there's people who love a movie no matter what and defend it and apologize for everything. Then there's people who just hate everything, and that's an extreme way of thought too. They're not right either. So there's a middle ground.
Yeah, so
let's get into what we think of it.
Yeah, look, before we get into opinion, here's some facts. Metacritic score, this movie's got 86. Like Anthony just said, Rotten Tomatoes, 93% fresh, 8.1 out of 10, but the audience score, 55%, which this is the lowest audience score of any Star Wars movie, including the prequels.
Oh, shit.
And then there was a dude on Facebook claimed that he used bots to drive the audience rating down. I don't know if that was true. That was crazy.
Skip that. Who cares?
Fuck it. But the box office. Okay, so the box office is going to be very telling. This opening weekend exceeded what they were predicting. It made $220 million opening weekend. Currently, it's at $278 domestic worldwide. $573 million. In 6 days, it's made over $500 million fucking dollars. That's crazy.
Well, that's Star Wars money, man.
It's the second biggest opening ever. And of course, like we said, it's not going to match Force Awakens. Force Awakens made $248 opening weekend. So.
Did Bellotti die, by the way?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
John, you there?
I was trying to get a few points in, but then I got drowned out by you guys. So I'm just going to stay silent until I'm called upon.
Oh.
Well.
What a buzzkill.
It's okay.
Really, John? What do you think? What is this box office saying? Is this repeat viewing? Like, people hate this movie, yet it keeps making lots of money.
course it's repeat viewing. All my Star Wars friends are seeing it like 3-4 times because they're all processing it. They're like, I don't know what I just saw. I have to see it again. So they're seeing it like 3 times. So yeah.
That's interesting because like even the haters are going back and giving the movie money over and over again.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you don't know what you just saw.
Yeah.
I think it was Anthony's exact sentence. I don't know what I just watched.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we all felt. I did want to add something about the critic stuff because I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but do you notice that critic scores for these subpar movies have been like unanimously positive? Like going back to Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
And all these big movies are getting all these good reviews. And I'm like, I wonder if just like some sort of conspiracy to get people back into the theater. I mean, Justice League got panned. We all know that. But Homecoming kind of sucked. But everyone was like, oh, it's so good. And I was like, no. And we all kind of agreed that it wasn't that good. So I don't know what's going on. I feel like these critics are getting paid to write these really positive reviews. I don't know.
Maybe.
It kind of smells to me. Because it's Hollywood and they're all in on this shit. So
I mean, I will agree that the scores for those movies, initially, each time I'm like, wow, that seems really high. And then you see the movie and you're like, yeah, why? That's a little high. Like, it's always a little bit higher than you think it should be.
It is weird when you watch a movie and you don't like it, and then everybody that you know is either loving it and you don't know, or you read all these reviews that say it's great. And sometimes I think a lot of people are swayed by reviews. They just want to be part of something. And they get caught up in whatever. They don't really think about what they saw. So it's weird sometimes.
Star Wars does have that pull. Even I remember back to the prequels.
Yeah.
It just has that hype around it that people just have to see what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, that the fan reaction before I saw the movie had me even more intrigued from what I was hearing all over the board. I was like, what the fuck is this movie? What's in this movie that's got fucking geeks blowing a gasket, which is always funny, too.
I love dancing around talking about a movie.
Okay,
we just talk about the movie? How about that?
We'll start.
Anthony's got somewhere to go.
Yeah, I want to get the fuck out of here.
Let's start with opening thoughts. I want to know how big of a fan you were going in this movie and what you thought. Bellotti, you're our guest. I want you to go first. Why don't you start it off?
All right. Well, I'm probably as big of a fan as Anthony is of Star Wars. I grew up around it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Really? I thought you liked it way more. All right, never mind. Sorry.
No, hell no.
Wow.
No, I'm the Japanese guy, thick and thin.
Okay.
I always kind of grew up around it. I never got really into it, so I don't have that passion that the Star Wars nerds have. But as a general fan, if you watch the originals and then the prequels and then this, it's just like, it's just been like a downward slope since, I guess, Phantom Menace. So, yeah, I think the first thing I said was, what did I say to you guys? I wish somebody would punch me in the face because it'd be less painful than what I just watched.
Oh, my God.
So I guess that was my first reaction to seeing Last Jedi.
There you go.
I guess I'll go with that as my opening thoughts.
Okay, that's a good opener. Anthony, this is going to be great. Anthony, level of fandom and your opening thoughts.
I'm so shocked that Bellotti thinks his level of fandom is the same as mine.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't expecting that.
I really have no fandom for this. I felt forced to watch this. That being said, I did enjoy Force Awakens. I don't remember. I don't think I've even seen the episodes 1 through 3. I don't think I've seen them in their entirety ever. 4 through 6, I've seen them and I don't remember anything.
Okay.
Force Awakens, I did enjoy. Rogue One, I actually really liked. So I was coming into this with like a positive attitude. I may have been distracted throughout the entire movie. I did see it with a friend. That's beside the point.
There's some kind of popcorn shenanigans going on.
No. Never a kiss and tell. But I did see it, and God, I walked out of that, and I think the first thing I said was, I don't know what the hell it is I just watched. I thought that shit was boring as fuck. I thought, how the fuck is anybody a fan of Star Wars after watching something like that? I was like, this shit is corny. The fucking sound effects are corny. The designs are corny. Everything about this is lame as fuck. I don't know how anyone likes Star Wars, and yeah, I am really sad that I had to watch that fucking movie and waste 2.5 hours of my time. If it was 2.5 hours and it felt like it was 5.
Okay, now that's very interesting. Okay, very good. Rug Boy, level of fandom, opening thoughts.
As a fan of Star Wars, now, I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars in the world, but I know so many people that are.
Yeah.
People that I'm very close to are huge Star Wars fans. So I've watched every Star Wars movie multiple times. I mean, I have a bunch of Star Wars stuff. Now, my favorite thing about Star Wars is actually the animated TV shows.
Yes.
Because they really let the ideas breathe, and they really handle it in a way where they can tell you the lore, and there's none of this like nonsense that's going on with the Force Awakens with J.J. Abrams and trying to like make a mystery out of everything or whatever. It's like I mean, there are mysteries, and that's what's great about Star Wars. There are things to discover, but so I know a lot about Star Wars. So that's my fandom. I don't read the comics. I don't read the books, but I know people who do, and they explain them to me. Mm-hmm. When I watched this movie, I wasn't like disappointed, and thought it was a piece of crap. I just was like perplexed more than anything. I was just like, why did they do this? And then I looked at it from a different standpoint of just like a movie making and writing standpoint. And I was like, this is really like, if you think about it, it's really like a lot of this is pointless. So I was perplexed. That was my initial reaction.
Okay, very good. For myself, look, I think I'm somewhere between you and Bellotti. Basically, I was 8 when Return of the Jedi came out, height of Star Wars mania. I had all the toys. I read the comic books. So I've seen all the movies, but I have not read all the expanded books. I've watched some Star Wars Rebels. So I'm like a little higher than a casual fan, but I love the original trilogies. And leaving this movie, initially, yes, I was confused. And a little frustrated and slightly disappointed and just like, okay. There's some great moments, but there's clearly a lot of issues. But then I haven't been able to stop thinking about the movie. I saw it like 3 days ago. And as I keep thinking about the movie, I started to kind of understand what it is and what he was trying to do and what it's saying, but it still has lots of crazy issues. So that's initially what I felt, and it's changed. It's gone back and forth every day. It's a very challenging movie.
Well, when you go into a museum and you see like a really shitty painting,
yes,
and then someone tries to explain it to you why it's awesome, and then you're like, you get it, but this painting's still shitty to you.
I guess
that's what this movie is to me sometimes.
I mean, there's degrees of that. Like the Art Institute has this painting. It's called Blue Panel. It's literally just the blue panel. Now, look, I appreciate modern art. I've taken art history. I can understand a lot of it. But that, to me, there's nothing anybody can say that's going to justify fucking Blue Panel.
Sounds like Star Wars.
Sounds a little bit like Star Wars. So let's get into, before we get really negative and nitpicky, let's just get into what worked, what we liked, what we thought this movie did well.
It's going to be a short section.
Look, let's just start with it.
Well, can I just preface this with something?
Yes.
Okay, there's 3 ways of thinking about this movie.
Yes.
Right? As a fanboy.
Yeah.
And people who read all the books and all the other stuff, you could think about it that loves what they've read and everything like that. Then there's the guys that are on board for the new version of this, right? And then there's the person who's looking at it as a film and how a film is constructed. So we have to take all of that into consideration when we talk about what we liked and what we didn't like.
It's true.
All right? So
as a film, it's, craftily, expertly made. It's really well made, beautifully shot.
Right.
The technical, the editing, the special effects, everything looks great. There are moments that you could freeze frame and hang on your wall. It's so gorgeous.
Yes.
And one of my favorite moments was the hyperspace suicide attack where it went silent. It looked like an abstract painting. And I got to tell you, the audience was fucking silent. Like nobody made a sound. It was so weird. It all of a sudden went silent. Just gorgeous. So I got to give him props for that.
Right.
Yep.
Anthony, do you have anything you liked about this movie?
Did you hit that spoiler button?
Oh, yeah, by the way.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time. What's suicide?
There were a couple. I mean, I kind of woke up when they were in that red room and Snoke was annihilated by that lightsaber. I kind of woke up there. I was like, oh, this movie's kind of picking up now. I thought that was cool.
That was a great lightsaber battle.
I liked the diversity. I know people talking about pandering. I didn't see it. I think it was fun. I thought it was great. I thought the literal, someone pointed out to me, it was like the allegory of like Asian and a black and Hispanic or whatever the fuck Oscar Isaac is and a woman, like literally behind a wall against the rebel or the Empire. What is it called?
The First Order.
The First Order, like that has so many meanings now in context.
Yeah, it's them versus like white guys, like white males,
and like them coming up against the wall, like literally behind a wall. I thought that was all cool stuff. What else was good?
Anti-rich, veganism. Themes.
Is Chewbacca a vegan now?
I like the end. I like the thought of. I like the idea of the Force not being passed down to just the family, but
interesting.
Like,
yes,
other people can tap into it. I thought that was kind of interesting. And
but that's nothing new.
I don't know it. I don't know shit. So
yeah.
I mean, if you watched any of the old movies, there's Jedis of all different ilk.
Right. Well, I was tying that into like Rey not like her parents not being anything special.
Right.
I know that there was a lot of speculation that she was somehow related to something important, and they're not.
Yeah.
So all that stuff, some of those ideas I thought were cool. That's all I got.
I do. I also like the fact that Rey is not related. I've been saying this forever. Like, I hate when people are always tied into other people, because that's like what they teach you in film writing.
Yeah.
That everything has to be tied together all the time, and then it just gets so repetitive and it's boring. And why can't you have somebody? Whatever. And not only that, but in Star Wars, they've established many Jedis that are not related to Skywalkers. You watch Rebels, you watch Attack of the Clones, or any of those Clone Wars. There's tons of Jedis that are not related.
Canon or no?
Yeah, the cartoons are.
Yeah,
are they?
Yeah. No, I mean,
Mace Windu is not related to Luke Skywalker.
Right.
It's like we know that. So it's like Ahsoka Tano's not. So it's like all of these dudes are random people.
I do love this attempt. Rian Johnson is starting to push away from the Skywalker story because, yes, I'm kind of tired of Skywalkers. I kind of want the Skywalker story to end. So a lot of the things they did in this movie, I was like, okay, good, we're moving forward. But yeah, Kylo Ren could also be lying. We don't know. But the point that unexpected turn is one of the things I also liked about this movie. It's every time you think it's supposed to go, it feels like it's going to do one thing. It does not do that thing.
It seemed like this movie, because there was a lot of like feedback of like how the first one was just a retread.
Correct.
So it seemed like this movie, Rian Johnson and the writers were like, fuck everything.
Yeah.
We're killing all of that shit and we're doing our own thing now. Like it was almost like a response, it felt like.
Yeah, but you know what that feels like to me, though? That feels like a J.J. Abrams handoff. Like he thinks of this idea, then all of a sudden it gets handed off to somebody else, and they don't know what to do with his ideas, so they just do something else. Like, for example, I've heard a lot of people going, like, why does Rey need to be related to anybody? That's it's so refreshing. I'm like, yeah, but if they really wanted to be ballsy, they would have introduced her with parents that were not related to anybody, and that wouldn't even be a discussion. Like, they planted that seed and dangled that carrot to make people, like, have a mystery to solve.
That's the lost strategy of storytelling, a little bit.
Yeah, so they shot themselves in the foot there, I guess, by doing that, by dangling those carrots.
The movie is kind of a fuck you to like J.J. Abrams and George
Lucas. Everything that J.J. Abrams set up got blown away. Like Kylo Ren's helmet got taken away.
Who's Snoke? Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. So all of these things that they set up in that first movie are completely unnecessary. But the thing that I almost can't forgive is the throwing away of the Jedi Order. I think that was I think that's a huge mistake.
Let me tag on to the throwing away everything.
Yeah.
Princess Leia, the actual actress, Carrie Fisher, is dead.
Yes.
You know what? You're not going to get her anymore.
Yeah.
And you're not getting Luke anymore. We're killing him too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a
Let's not kill the obvious character. Let's kill the character that's still going to be alive in real life.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they
Bloody,
do
anything
that
good?
going into the movie. Yeah, Bloody, you got anything good?
This whole time I've been thinking of like what I really liked about it. You guys pretty much said it all. I did like Poe a lot. I thought he was an awesome character, and I did like Grouchy Luke. I liked any scene with him and Rey and Kylo, the suicide run, and there was one shot of Leia at the end where she's behind that giant wall. And she has like this mask on her face.
Oh yeah,
and
covering her face.
That shot, like I can't get out of my head. That was a beautiful shot.
Beautiful. There's a lot of shots that are very lasting.
There's some beautiful photography for sure. But there was some awkward photography in it as well. We'll get to that later. But
I enjoyed seeing Puppet Yoda. Like, no, I know this is a big budget movie and they're using a fucking puppet.
That was obviously a conscious decision.
Yes, that is like a great nostalgia pull because it just brings you back to like the original
What's the deal
trilogy.
with that? Is he just a spirit?
He's a Force ghost, correct.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But what he's done, so the other thing I liked is they showed us a lot of new Force powers. When he caused the lightning to actually strike the thing and burn everything, like the Force ghosts had never interacted with the physical world before.
Can someone explain to me now what the fuck the Force is going on? What's going on here?
That's a good question
now,
because I don't know
It used to
anymore.
be easier to explain, but
Yeah.
now they've muddied it up.
They've totally muddied it up.
Yeah, in the prequels, they explained it as the midichlorians in your body.
Well, see, you got to ignore that. It's
You know what? These new movies have made me like the prequels, believe it or not.
All right, so the way that I interpret the Force,
Yes.
and this is going to be really a bunch of bullshit that I'm making up right now, is that midichlorians or not, basically a person has whatever conductibility where they can actually kind of impose their will over molecules, like out of the fabric of reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard to do. So even with the most training and focusing, you can only do a few things that are like basically tangible. But the more that you train and the more that you actually become interacted with this Force, the more shit you can do, basically. But it takes it takes years and years and years of practicing to master. It's like almost like almost like a meditation. Like Shaolin Knights are doing.
Why can Rey basically Skype with the Force? Like she's been doing this for 2 minutes.
That doesn't make any sense. But I mean, at a certain point, you could transcend space and time if you know how to, if you can interact with the fabric of reality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've
you
never
can bend it. Yeah.
They've never had force projection before. Like that was another new power. That was crazy. But yeah, the force time. Everyone's calling it.
I'm just confused at like why Rey is like this expert.
Nobody knows. That's the infuriating thing. Nobody knows.
And they're talking about how much training you have to do, and she's like amazing at it already.
Yeah,
well, she was amazing at the end of the first one. And
right,
like,
that's
this
what
girl
I'm saying.
Some people are just good at stuff, like naturally inclined to and so it's very special when someone's like Luke Skywalker and Anakin before him were very, very in tune with the Force. Actually, Yoda is made of the Force.
Oh, he's all made of the Force. Yes.
He's like a Force that they're very rare beings. That's why you don't see that many of them.
Well, when you die, you become one with the Force.
Yeah, and then you go back and become one with the Force.
Can the Dark Force people become Force ghosts? Has that ever happened?
Is that a new thing?
I don't know.
Dark
Force?
Force?
I mean, no, you can always see ghosts in the Force.
No, like Darth Vader or like Snoke. Could he be a Force ghost? We've never seen like a bad person come back.
Anakin was a Force ghost at the end of Jedi.
Yeah, but it was like
back.
good Anakin. It was it was before. That's a good point. That's
they
a
never
good point.
show that. They never really get into the Sith.
Plus, he got
they never
redeemed.
They never really. I'm sure that it could happen. I mean, anything goes. But I think that the whole thing about if somebody dissipates into the Force, because everybody that came back as a Force ghost dissipated into a ghost.
Right.
So, like Yoda, for example, he dissipated into the Force in Empire. What was it? In Return of the Jedi. So, and the same thing with Obi-Wan, when he was fighting Darth Vader, he disappeared into the Force. So they will themselves to kind of tear themselves apart into the Force again.
You know what?
With the Force.
Vader didn't do that at the end of Jedi.
Oh, he just died.
He just dies and they burn him.
Why does he want to?
Oh, and they burn him. That's right.
Why does he keep referring to Kylo Ren as like the next Vader?
Because he's his grandson?
It's great. He is his grandson. He's a Skywalker.
Oh, so but then like you become a Vader? I thought he was just Kylo Ren. Like that was his mask, and he's this bad guy.
Well, he's emulating his grandfather.
I think Vader is what as a term that they use for like some kind of leader under the Emperor.
Oh.
So the confusing part is it seems like it's genetic, like the Force is passed down through bloodlines, but now all of a sudden this movie, that's why I see how this movie is challenging the notion of Star Wars concepts, what a Star Wars movie is, and it's telling us, kill the past, that shit is done, and now these orphans have Force powers. Little fucking kid sweeping up
I kind of like
at
that.
the end. Yeah, it's
I like the
opened it
hope.
up.
I like the ending. I actually thought was okay.
Really? You thought it was hopeful at the end? Yes, with that kid looking out. Yeah.
And being able to use the Force, I thought that was cool.
You know what? The more I thought about it, I was just like, this was basically Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi wrapped up in one movie.
Yeah, kind of combined.
I was just, like the end when they jump into the trench on another white planet and they have the walkers again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this looks, I think I turned to my brother and I said, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, they're doing it. I was like, you did it to me again, Star Wars. You fucking got me. Just more fucking nostalgia rape.
Except
one more thing too.
Yeah,
I thought this movie had some good ideas.
Yeah.
Like I liked the idea of there being this planet that is just the 1%, which is just loving war.
Yes, and the war profiteers.
Like I think there's some ideas there that could be explored. But then then you have laser sound effects in the background, and I'm just like, I'm expecting like kablam written across the front of the screen after that. Like, this is fucking corny.
One of the things that I really liked was I think that the acting was pretty good all over, all around. I think everybody kind of brought something to it. So it was performed well.
Yes.
I just like the art direction more than anything, and the cinematography was just really cool. And I even liked some of the musical cues and some of the like there was moments in the theater where everybody cheered. So it did grab people to that extent where people were cheering.
Yeah.
When that lightsaber went through that red guy's head.
Oh, that was a great move where he just turns it on and off.
Yeah.
And takes him out. When Snoke got killed, people cheered in my theater.
Or when they cut to Luke like hovering over that thing, then that was a projection.
Yeah.
People were gasping like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So it's like there was like good filmmaking, but if you think about what those things are and then you start to kind of process what you just watched, then you're like, oh, that was a great moment, but like, did I really want the story to go that way?
Yeah.
And that's the conundrum of being perplexed that I have.
You know what? To sort of piggyback off of what Anthony said, I did like the war profiteering line that Del Toro throws out.
Yeah.
And obviously, I like Snoke's throne room, like the whole red and the black. I mean,
that was pretty
striking.
badass. And then it was going up in flames. Was very, very cool.
I think what this new trilogy so far is missing is like the original trilogy and the prequels are basically George Lucas and his vision and what message he tries to convey. And the original trilogy was basically the Vietnam War, World War II.
Yeah.
The second trilogy, the prequels, is basically about democracy and how quickly it can crumble. This one, I'm like, what the fuck are they trying to say?
Yeah,
like
that's a lot of the problems with both this and Force Awakens. Is there's a lot of gaps. The motivations aren't very clear.
I think there's things they're trying to say. It's just they're not focused on it.
They're not succeeding at them. But I give them balls, especially for this one, for holding up this fuck you to everything that came before. Because, but at the same time, you're right, John.
So you really hated The Force Awakens that much, and the original trilogies that much that you want to just scrap everything and rebuild?
No, that's one of the main issues with what's been bugging me about these movies. You
just said you were giving them props for saying "fuck you."
Well, it's
everything.
ballsy. It's a ballsy thing to do.
I give props to be ballsy, but trying. I didn't say they succeeded. That's a different thing. But
I think it's a kind
trying.
Now, if we could get into what we didn't like.
Yes, we can. Right after a quick break right here, we're going to play some promos, and we will get nitpicky, and because there is a lot to nitpick. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Do you like sci-fi, AI, and technology? Do you enjoy going on tangents and down random rabbit holes of a subject? Then join me and my friends each week on Brokebot Mountain as some artificially intelligent people attempt to walk through a maze that explores themes of existence and free thought in sci-fi TV, movies, and books. The conversations are unique and bring an unusual perspective to the genre and can literally go anywhere. And we do mean anywhere. You can find us at blazingcariboustudios.com or look for Brokebot Mountain on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play, or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Pappas.
And I'm Julie Ken.
And we are the host of the Meddling Kids Podcast, a review of all things Scooby-Doo.
We are going through every episode in the Scooby-Doo canon to explain all the questions you meddling kids have.
Right, exactly. Like, is Fred a serial killer? How old is Fred exactly?
Why does Daphne have such bad posture?
Where do these kids live, and is pot legal there?
Where is this place? I think it's Florida. Anyway, stick with us for the Meddling Kids Podcast, a groovy review of all things Scooby-Doo.
Called The Working Man's Nerdist, Tales from the Fandom is a weekly podcast where David talks with a guest about the fandoms that they love. Whether it's classics like Star Trek, Star Wars and Tolkien, or new ones like Game of Thrones or Harry Potter. Anime, books, TV shows, movies, role-playing, video games, cosplay and more are discussed. Each episode is different based on the guest. No fandom is too big or too small. Subscribe to Tales from the Fandom and join in on the fun.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you've been enjoying the show for just a couple of weeks or many weeks or almost 3 years we've been doing the show, and you want more show, there's a very easy way to do that. Just join our fan club. jockandnerd.com/Patreon gets you there. And for a low monthly or high monthly, whatever you want, whatever you think the show is worth, pledge, you will get access to a bonus RSS feed with lots of exclusive content, post shows, instant reactions to movies. We'll eventually put whole episodes. There's a whole episode up there. I got to say a big shout out and thank you. We got a new one.
Jock and Nerd.
This week, new patron, John. Okay, I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm going to take a quick survey, you guys. How do you pronounce this name? Magat.
I think you pronounce it with a French pronunciation.
Okay.
Maggot?
Okay, that was my first thought. Or
Magat,
is it
like Sagat from
or
Street
Sagat,
Fighter?
or is it Magat?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that
John
one.
Maggot. John, right in. I don't know how to say your last name. I probably butchered it, but that's par for the course here. If you've been listening, thank you very much for your pledge.
Thanks, bruh.
Right on. We got another one.
Thank you.
Booyah.
Growing Jock and Nerd Nation. Also, buy some merch, people. We got t-shirts. Visit jockandnerd.com/shop. And we sold another mug, and I hope it's not Anthony again. Did you buy another mug, Anthony?
No, it's one of my friends that bought it for.
Oh.
Excellent.
for
It makes a great
somebody.
gift. Yes.
It is. It's a Christmas gift.
Makes a great Christmas gift.
Mine and your mug is nothing. There's nothing better than opening up a stocking and seeing your mug on it.
My mug will be on a mug. Boy,
Yeah.
is that cheesy. Okay. Now, this is the fun
Can I
part.
go first on the
Okay,
on the
yeah. But look, before we get into what didn't work for us, I've been so back and forth with this movie where I wrote down a bunch of nitpicks and plot holes, but some of these things I can almost counter with an argument. So go first, Anthony.
I wanted to go first because I feel like it can get real technical.
Yeah.
And that's where I mentally check out.
Okay. Let's go broad themes then. Broad shit.
First off, I thought the shit was boring and corny. I already said that, but Star Wars is so fucking corny. I was on board after Rogue One, and now I'm like, dude, the laser sounds and the costume designs, like, what's cool about any of this?
That's
This
Star
is
Wars.
also
That's Star Wars cheese.
yeah,
It
it's
really
fucking
is.
cheesy as
Yeah.
shit. I don't understand it. That's one thing, but
Yeah.
the main two things I really didn't like were fucking Finn's storyline. It is one of the worst storylines I've ever seen in a movie.
Yes.
A fucking side plot to pick up some random code breaker that really means nothing to the final plot. Fucking terrible. Like, that whole thing was just a goddamn waste of time. I don't know who wrote that, but that person should be kicked in the balls by Imran's face. That's probably what should happen.
I like this.
And then the other thing I didn't like is Benicio del Toro, its character, is just retarded. Like, what? Why does he have a stutter? Why is he acting like this?
He always
Who is
plays
this guy?
characters like that, though.
Yeah,
that are
I don't
hard
give a
to-
fuck why he always plays.
hard to
Why is he
understand.
playing someone that is you can't even understand what the fuck he's saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Good
what?
point.
And he's supposed to be like something integral part to this story, and then at the end he's nothing. Like, he's just a piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. I'm done with this. All right, you guys go ahead.
Well, let's talk about. So that
Oh,
probably.
wait, before I start on this, I want to actually acknowledge a couple of things that I liked that
Okay.
I didn't mention.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I think the best scene in the movie that's not an action scene is when Luke goes into the Millennium Falcon and sees the footage from R2-D2.
Oh, wait,
the original
yes.
Leia footage.
Yeah, I love that they played
And,
that. Again.
Basically R2-D2 gives him some shit for, like, not wanting to get back into the fray.
Yeah, he's like, remember this? What are you
Yeah. So I thought that was a great scene, but then you never see R2-D2 again.
doing? No, you don't. Not much to C-3PO either. I was
Or
wondering
Chewie. You
where
don't
they
see
were.
Chewie that much.
Yeah.
You
in
barely
the
see
movie.
Chewie. You
So
barely see
it was
them.
weird that
Fuck old Star Wars.
yeah,
That's what this
but,
movie is saying.
Yeah, that's what it's doing.
That is the point of the movie. So the plot, like, there's not really a plot. It's a long chase, and that whole side thing with Finn, I agree, was pointless.
It didn't even need to take place.
No, it's a stupid plan. And
Like, they could have let. First of all, Poe Dameron, like, he comes in and he asks her, like, "What's the plan?"
yeah,
And she could have been like, "Well, we're just gonna run away until we get close enough to this plan where we can jettison out."
Yeah, why doesn't she tell him?
I don't know. That was
because she's like, fuck him. And I'm like, Leia doesn't say anything. Leia's like, or when she comes to, like, yo, tell this guy what the fuck's going on. You know, like
if
I don't know.
either one of them
they
told
wrote
each
it that
other
way just so it could happen
the
that way.
plan, it would have been.
Has the girl from Jurassic Park been in any of these movies? Why is she so important all of a sudden?
No, she's new Captain Holdo, new character. And
she exists in some of the lore.
Okay,
but,
in the books, she's new on the screen.
I have so many questions.
Yes, like space bombs. Did that bother anyone?
It was a little like a forced thing.
But
was that in the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah, where they drop bombs in space. Like,
all the fans are like, you can't drop bombs in space, but you
can.
You can.
I mean, it's basically like if you. All they need is a little push and they go in a direction.
You can sciencey it, saying the ships have gravity generators and it releases from one gravity generator and catches caught in the other one.
I just think that they're pushed down. That's all.
Yes.
They're just pushed down.
Magnetized or something?
Yeah, they could have been magnetized.
Magnetized.
That one kind of falls flat. Now, and right at the beginning,
it was silly though when you thought about it, like space bombs.
Space bombs. What the fuck?
It just sounds ridiculous.
Why do the bombers move so slow? I mean,
and why do they fly so close together so that when one blows up, they all blow up? Like you don't think they would have learned to fucking
modern
spread
bombers
out?
don't fly that slow. Even World War II bombers, they were like, and then you had the little Mustangs defending them. I was like, why are they moving like elephants?
Can't be that heavy that they're flying that slow.
Right.
Dumb. So in the beginning, there was a moment that I liked, and it led directly to a moment that was completely confusing. Was the moment Kylo had targeted Leia, and he doesn't take the shot.
Right.
That's very important. And the guy behind him comes in, takes the shot. Leia gets blown out the hatch and has a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy Mary Poppins moment. And pushes herself back in there. Like, what the fuck? This is crazy. First of all, I didn't know Leia. She's never shown powers, and I didn't know Jedis don't die in the vacuum of space. What's going on here?
Yeah, it just seemed like it was out of place. Leia should have died in this movie. I think that she should have been the one to do the
sacrifice run.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know why. Well, that's interesting.
They never filmed it.
Yeah, they never. That's why.
Yeah, but they could have CG'd that shit just for that
the back
scene.
of her or something, because there was there's a couple of moments where Holdo is talking, but it's like her mouth isn't moving, and they cut some words in because I think they had to restructure some of it.
Yeah.
But what is with Disney and fucking Mary Poppins and the humor? What you got? Did anybody like the humor in the movie? It opens with a prank call.
Yeah, it took me right out of it because that's not Star Wars.
Yes.
That's never been Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't like the camera work in that. Like the camera work in the Mary Poppins shot and in that beginning scene before the attack, before like Poe starts shooting shit.
Yeah.
Then it gets cool again.
Yeah.
But just the shot of the guy, it looked like a TV comedy shot, like you'd see in like the Orville, like the way it was framed.
Talking about Hux when General Hux.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
it was like a sitcom scene where
it was like a parody of Star Wars. The way he was talking.
So like it popped in from being a very polished, beautiful, like epic looking filming and cinematic to like that TV comedy thing.
I thought this was the Spaceballs reboot that they've been promising us.
So it just from a cinematic standpoint, I thought it was very uneven and it was very jarring. And I don't really I'm not a big fan of like this new Marvel trend of like in like force injecting like humor into everything. And humor is like a very broad thing. You can do have something that's funny, but like not to that level where he's making a prank call. It just seems that's a little maybe too far.
Yeah, what was jarring for me is like these jokes are a little modern, but to Anthony's point, Star Wars' humor has always been kind of vaudevillian and old-timey and kind of cheesy and corny. But up until now, we've only had like Han Solo making jokes in the movies, the humor does not come from anywhere else. It's always
I laughed unintentionally a few times.
A lot of people did. In my screening also.
But like even like when
that was interesting.
Even when the fucking the ship gets blown up and Poe gets thrown out of the ship, then like right after like BB-8 comes like flying out like in a funny way to defuse it.
Yeah.
So like there's always something that takes the piss out of everything, that like lets the air out of every tense moment.
Anthony, what did you laugh at that you probably weren't meant to?
Honestly, I don't remember, but there were some real cheesy fucking lines.
Was it shirtless Kylo? Because people laughed when that showed up.
The thing that really pissed me off was the handing of the lightsaber and him tossing it.
Yes.
I thought that was.
Yes.
Why did they have to play that for a joke? He could have done anything that would have been more poignant.
No, I was thinking about that. Like, it totally derails.
He could have just handed back to her.
Or just walked away. He should just turned around and walked away.
Just flip it to the side, throw it in the ocean and walk away. Right in the beginning. This is.
I mean, you could even throw it in a way. You could even have thrown it in a way that wasn't so like.
Yes,
trying to be funny.
Right. So the real, this is why I can see why the fans hate this, because for 2 years we've been waiting to see what happens where The Force Awakens ends. She's handing him the lightsaber, and what is he going to do? And it's such a tense, expected moment. And again, he does the unexpected, flips it over his shoulder like it's a fucking Three Stooges cartoon.
Yeah, but you can do that same thing. You can do that same action and make it poignant.
Yeah, he could have easily gave her a look and just flipped the thing away and walked away. Like, that would have been a little more in the moment.
How about just drop it and it rolls off the cliff?
Yeah, just drop it and let it go, and that look, and I was like, what is this? But I did still appreciate grumpy fucking dick Luke the way he was. He was a fucking dick. It was kind of fun.
Isn't that predictable? Isn't that everyone thought he was going to be?
No, because this is what happens. This is the pattern. This is like, for all the brave moves that they made, they did the exact same thing that happens to every fucking Jedi that's over 50 years old. Yeah. They become hermit curmudgeons. They live away somewhere, and then they try to hide. When I would like just once an old Jedi to be like fucking Count Dooku, like a fucking 80-year-old pimp, just kicking everyone's ass.
I'm still in it. Let's go.
Yeah, just fucking shit up and not giving a fuck.
That's like every comic book trope where the old hero is now this the Dark Knight, where he's just this old curmudgeon and you got to reel him back in and make him see the light again. Oh, you're not just this curmudgeon anymore. Remember when you were a hero? That's common as fuck.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's very
big trope, and they weren't doing anything brave by doing that.
Right.
No.
They knew he was going to come back at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
There was no surprise there. It's
and I feel like that we were robbed in that scene too, because as much as cool as everybody gasped at that he was doing a force projection and he was faking it, he just dies after that.
I agree. I did not.
So if he would have done that and lived, and then just maybe lived to the next movie, that would be cool. But if you're gonna have him die anyway, have him go out swinging for real.
Exactly. That's what I thought. I hated the way he disappeared. I was like, if that was gonna happen, why don't you just have him show up there and then because when they squared off, I was like, holy shit, Kylo Ren, Luke Skywalker, lightsaber battle. Here we go.
And it's a
if
projection.
Luke dies, at least he goes out in a blaze of glory.
And I appreciated the details. There was no
There's no stakes to him being a projection.
No, there isn't.
There's no reason for him to die either.
So then they said he died from the exertion of being the force projection. I was like, oh,
but I don't buy that. I don't buy that, because if the force projection was such a hard thing to do, Kylo Ren and Rey are doing it all all over the movie. Yeah, they're talking to each other, touching each other. They're practically fucking each other. So, why is it so hard to do? They're not even trying. They're not even breaking a sweat talking to each other.
That is the new young generation of force wielders, Ruggs.
It's a bunch of bullshit. Sorry.
And this is an old...
He needed to get some extends in there, bro.
You gotta stick. You gotta stick to your rules, even if you're breaking them. You gotta break them the same.
That's correct. And again, this is the large problem with these new movies: is they're so inconsistent to what has come before.
What is with the little chicken things that are
Okay, let's talk about the porgs. Fucking porgs.
What are they called?
Porgs.
This is
I would have thought it would be cooler if Chewbacca just fucking ate the porg.
Me too. I was like, eat the fucking porg anyways.
What's the deal with the porgs?
I don't know. They're a cute fucking thing that's there. Yeah.
Star Wars has been very notorious for marketing shit
cutesy shit to kids.
Yeah, but the thing is, like Darth Maul was the best example. He was in the movie for 5 fucking minutes in Phantom Menace.
Oh, I thought he was the villain when I first saw that movie.
No, he was for 5 minutes.
Before seeing previews, I was like, that guy's the new Darth Vader.
No, Star Wars is notorious for doing that.
They set him up and then you kill him.
You know what it is? Because Lucas had to make all his money through merchandising, because that was the agreement he made with the studios when he made the original trilogy. So he would just market the shit out of the toys and characters. And then you see the movie and they're in it for 5 minutes. Like the Knights of Ren. Remember them from Force Awakens?
Yes. What happened to the Knights of Ren?
Exactly. So that's what the porgs are. Just like
they're
another
hanging out with
one.
the knights who say me.
Bring me a strawberry.
Knights of Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had these Knights of Ren.
Kylo Ren did get jacked though. I never commented on shirtless Kylo Ren.
Did you enjoy shirtless Kylo Ren?
I was like, whoa, this man. I thought this man was skinny as fuck.
He's always been
Is he?
built. Yeah. Have you ever seen him in Girls? He's always got a shirt off.
Very ugly dude.
But jacked.
You know they wanted him for Nightwing. You know that he was in rumors.
Nightwing? Really?
Yeah, they were talking about, and I was like, oh god, no, please.
I mean, I guess equality for like all kinds of people that look retarded, but like not retarded.
I thought he
sorry
did.
to the mentally disabled. He looks not pleasing to the eye.
I thought he did a pretty solid job.
I think chicks dig him though for some reason.
No, like one woman laughed and like another woman cat called him.
What's his Adam Driver?
Adam Driver, yeah.
Not a good looking dude.
But again, they had a weird humor where Rhea's like, can you put a towel on or something? And he's like, no, fuck you. I thought that was strange. But Porgs, at least, look, I still like the Ewoks because at least the Ewoks fucking did some shit and helped out. The Porgs are completely useless. The Ewoks from Return of the Jedi in the forest.
They're Care Bears.
Oh, those little bears?
Yeah, little bears. I love them. Look, they took out a bunch of stormtroopers. They were able to take down the fucking Empire somehow.
Here's another question for you guys.
Yeah, go.
You know when, was it Poe?
Yes.
Poe Dameron?
Yes.
He like all of a sudden is like, he points his gun at the girl with the lady with the purple hair and he's like, all right, we're taking over.
Yeah. Mutiny.
Yeah, mutiny. I didn't know he had, how does he have that power to just cause a mutiny right then on the spot and just take over within like 2 seconds?
Because obviously all those other fucking guys didn't know the plan either.
Yeah.
But there was like 5 guys, and they were able to take over the entire ship for like a good 20 minutes.
She didn't tell anyone the plan, and if she had just tell them what the fuck is going on.
Like, where did this power come from? That he has the influence to do something like that.
Well, he's a big hero from the last movie. He was one of the guys that helped blow up that fucking Starkiller base.
I felt like they made him real stupid the entire film. Like he was just running into battle.
He didn't really have a lot to do. Yeah.
He was just the guy that was just running in like guns ablazing, and then you're like, and then everyone's just like, you're an idiot. Nope, you're an idiot. Leia's like, I'm going to shoot you because you're an idiot.
Like throughout the movie, he's like, okay, what's the plan?
But it could be easily solved if purple-haired lady would just tell him the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't tell him the plan. Now, look, while it did unexpected things, it's also like there's so many similarities to Empire Strikes Back. It's kind of funny, like how Benicio del Toro's character is kind of like Lando Calrissian. They both sell out their people. Cloud City is like that city Canto Bight, the casino city. There's Jedi training in both movies. The Resistance is fleeing from the
Jedi
Empire.
Training?
Yeah.
Well, there's basically there were supposed to be 3 lessons. We saw 2 barely. There should have been more training.
What was the 2 lessons? One is sit on a rock and think.
Oh, make the rocks float.
Yeah, and what was the second lesson?
Wasn't
don't go into the dark hole.
No, that was the first one. That was the first lesson. No, he was sitting in the temple.
I don't even remember.
And then
what was the first lesson?
Don't go in the dark hole.
Yeah, it was the rocks.
Kylo Ren went to the dark hole. Don't go in that dark hole.
And then the second lesson was don't go into the dark hole?
I think
no, that was the first lesson.
Was in the first lesson. Remember, because she's like, reach out, and then she starts to get it.
What's the second lesson?
The second lesson was
he went into the story of him and Kylo Ren. They were in the temple, and he was sitting down.
Find out the truth.
I don't even.
And that's the second lesson. That's the training.
Remember.
I can't.
And then
remember.
he went to see her wield the lightsaber, and he just walked away.
He's like, oh, you're good. Okay,
and then he drank some like blue milk.
I
special.
did like the green milk from the fucking weird animal's udder. That was pretty funny.
That's the blue milk. That's from like the first movie. The blue
green,
milk.
Well, it's green now, yeah, but it's always was it blue? Was it green? Anyways,
it was blue.
It was very weird. There was just a lot of weird things. But the third lesson, it was cut. I'll put a link in the show notes about there's a description of the third lesson. But yeah, he says 3 lessons and they fucking cut 1 lesson.
And then
I don't even remember what the second lesson was.
I can't remember either.
Her going into the Black Cave was exactly like Luke in Empire, where he sees himself. She saw himself. It was a little trippy, but still kind of pointless.
Yeah. They make this big deal about don't go over there, and then she went over there and nothing bad happened.
No, she went to the room of mirrors, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, Bruce Lee was there. She found Han with the fake hand.
She got scratched up. The guy with the claw.
Yeah, she had the three scars on her face and her chest.
Right on the chest. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would actually been cooler than
what was the deal with the mirror room? I didn't understand what was going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was probably fucking sleeping. She goes down there and she goes in the mirror room.
She snaps her fingers.
Snaps her fingers, and they don't do it at the same time. They do it like one after the other. There's like a delay.
Right.
And she's like, "Who are my parents?" And then you see these 2 figures, and they merge into one. And she wipes away the mist on the window or the mirror, and it's her.
Right.
And then she sort of snaps out of it.
She's her own parents.
Well, Luke did an Empire.
Whatever.
I
was probably fucking sleeping.
It's like
she raised herself.
stepping into the dark side of the Force and like learning a secret about yourself. But yeah, I don't know. That's all the whole thing about Rey's reveal is that she's a fucking no.
So is Kylo Ren now the new Supreme Leader?
He is the Supreme Leader. So this movie, by the end of it, puts him in the Supreme Leader. But I gotta say, by the end of it, not much happens. It's the same shit. They're still running from the fucking new First Order. Like they're back at square one.
Like Empire.
See, like if I was Leia Organa, this is what I would do.
Okay.
Oh yeah. What would you do?
The minute that we were in fucking trouble, I would have been like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. Everybody jettison out of this fucking craft, and I'm going to even get a droid to fucking suicide fucking javelin this thing into all the Star Destroyers and kill them all in one shot. Because they were all lined up together.
Yes, perfectly.
And then none of the movie would have needed to take place.
Well, my question is, the suicide attack was great. Why haven't we seen anybody do this before? And did she really need to pilot it? Like, you can't just autopilot and go, just do this and get off the fucking thing?
That's just because they wrote it that way. That's all.
That's true.
They needed that sacrifice for that character.
So do you think it's, like, legitimate that people who, like this movie are saying, like, you can't judge this movie on your expectations of what you think they should do. You have to just take the movie as it is and then whether you like it or not. Does that make any sense to you?
I mean, yes and no, honestly.
Because if they set up something in a world, like the idea that Snoke was a wasted character, people are like, no, he's not a wasted character because he's not essential to the story. Because you don't need to know like who Rey's parents are, for example. You don't need to know who Snoke is. But they set it up for you to want to ask those questions. If they didn't want you to figure out who Rey's parents are, they shouldn't have made her an orphan and have her ask those questions. Like, if you want to move on from that type of stuff, how it relates to Darth Vader and how Snoke relates to the Sith, why have him always mention Darth Vader all the time? Like, it doesn't make any sense if you're tying it back in there and you're not explaining anything.
Because it's a rudderless ship without George Lucas steering it. That's the problem.
I mean, I
got
agree.
two different directors.
Do you think I should just shut the fuck up and just take whatever they give, or should we call it
they
out?
Clearly left breadcrumbs in the first movie. I think a larger, like, behind the scenes picture is like they don't have a map of this trilogy, and really they're kind of making it up and passing the ball back and forth. I feel like J.J. Abrams came in, stacked all these plates in the cupboard. Rian Johnson comes in, takes all the fucking plates out, smashes some, throws them around. Now what is J.J. going to do? Is he going to put all the plates back in the cupboard? Or is he going to play in this fucking mess?
Like, if you're J.J. Abrams and you're like, you just fucked up everything.
Yeah,
maybe he's there producing, so he's there in on it.
Yes.
So he's like, yeah, fine, break whatever you want. I don't care.
Well, pretty much. Ruggs, to sort of add to what you're saying, like, I went with my brother, and he didn't see Force Awakens. He kind of hates these movies, but he just wanted to basically rip the movie apart with me. I said, cool, let's do that. So he paid for my ticket, which is great. I didn't have to pay for that shit. And he turns to me at the end, and he's like, that movie was just bad, just from a film standpoint.
Wow.
Because I filled him in on the backstory, like who these characters were. And he's just like, it was just so bad. He's like, it was just outdated and corny. And he said his idea for the story was better. He said the Jedi should have been outlawed because one of their own Jedi basically brought the galaxy to its knees with Darth Vader. And he said they should have been hunted by the Republic. He said, and Luke should have been bad. I said, wow, that'd be awesome, but they wouldn't do it because that's not the safe option to do.
Right.
But from a general movie-going standpoint, like my brother is like, the general movie-going public, he was just like, no, it wasn't good at all.
Wow, it's crazy because, like, I enjoyed Rogue One a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Because it was a very elegant movie. All right. I mean, it wasn't like 100% elegant, but it was like the story made sense. They needed to go and intercept this thing. They had a plan. They knew that people were going to die, and people did die. But they ended up, saving Private Ryan, okay, or whatever they meant that movie to be. So it was a straightforward film, and it started chugging along, and when it really kicked into high gear, like, they really went for broke. They had blazes of glory. People went out in style. They didn't pull any punches. And in this movie, they pretty much back away from anything. So Luke Skywalker he's back, but he's not back. Rey and Kylo are partners, but they're not partners. Like, everything that they give you, they take away. So it was weird. Like they kill Leia, then they bring her back.
Yeah.
It's like it was a cock tease the whole time. It's like, am I gonna get it or not?
With no payoff. That's the other thing.
No payoff.
There was no stakes. Rogue One, you knew what the mission was, and you knew there were like real serious stakes at the end.
It was simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it got to the point. Which this one, it's like, well,
like if you try to explain like the plot line of this movie,
you can't. It's
like you're like a 2.5 hour movie goes by that looks like it goes over a period of a few days. If you're looking at what Rey and Luke are doing, Rey goes to that planet with Luke and is there for at least 3 days.
Jeez,
at least, because there's like it turns to day to night. You know, he's eating the porgs and Luke's sneaking on the ship, and there's another day. So 3 days or something that they're being chased through the galaxy in this slow-mo chase. And all of this stuff, people are going to casinos and riding on animals and all this other stuff is all happening during this 3-day time.
The whole Finn subplot.
It just doesn't make sense.
You know when I officially checked out of that movie? When Finn is fighting Phasma and he calls her Chrome Dome, and I said, oh, that's it. I'm done. You lost me.
That was Brienne of Tarth, and I was so mad that they didn't give her more to do. Like, so many wasted characters. I wanted to see Brienne of Tarth.
But just the line, Chrome Dome, it was just like, really? This is the level of writing in this film?
Yeah, Star Wars is corny as fuck. That's all I got. Like, Phantasm, cool look, one of the only cool characters they got.
Phasma,
Phasma.
It's
Phantasm, Fantasia, Barrera, who gives a fuck?
Oh, God.
She actually, like, it looks decent, but they kill her right away. And, like, the stormtroopers, man, come on, man, that shit looks like plastic. What are we watching? What is this shit? Why do people like this?
It's so weird because like half of the casual fans like it, and then someone like you hates it. There's a lot of casual fans that hate it. Like it
reminds
so
of me when I saw Harry Potter for the first time. Like, people like this shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I'm on board with that. I hate Harry Potter.
I liked it the first time when it was called X-Men.
I have to preface, man, I thought that the thing Rogue One was like, man, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Force Awakens was like, this is entertaining for me, and I don't know shit. This one was like, man, get me the fuck out of this movie.
It's so fucking...
Get me out. I wanted to walk out. Dude, this movie didn't even have like a 3-act structure. Like the third act, you think is like when they're battling each other, or they're battling in the Red Room, and like, all right, it's like Kylo and it's what's his face, or Rey
and
that's
Kylo,
the third act.
Snoke,
You think it's over, and then there's like, oh, nope, this is a 4th act. Like, what the fuck is this shit, man?
Dude, it has a very long second act. I was sitting there watching.
Is that a long second act or a beginning of a third act? What am I watching?
I was sitting there watching the space battle, and I was like,
I like that Anthony woke up.
And then it occurred to me, I was like, they haven't even fucking gone to the fucking planet with the red dust yet. Like, we were watching this space battle for 20 minutes. It's long.
It seemed like it seemed like the third act was like Batman v Superman or Amazing Spider-Man 2, where it's like, it just won't end.
Yeah, they keep
end this shit. Kill me, please.
Oh, how come none of us have mentioned the whole fucking when Finn is doing the suicide run?
Yeah,
and then
let's talk about that.
Decides to knock him out.
Yeah, and
with her ship.
Yeah,
and he still lives, but she's all. I'm like,
nobody's shooting him at this time.
Somehow they make it all the way back.
How is he not getting? How is he not dying? He's shooting. He's riding in a straight line.
Yes,
they should have killed him. I was like, wow, they're gonna kill Finn.
They didn't shoot him when he was in the line of fire of the cannon. They didn't shoot them after they crashed, like easy pickings. They didn't shoot them when they were walking their way back to the giant door. Nobody was getting shot.
All the main cast survived. All the tertiary characters were dead.
I feel like Finn is like potentially one of the more interesting characters because he was on the other side and now he's on the
they don't
light.
Touch
and
that
but they don't touch that at all. And it's like, it was like, oh no, he's always just been a really cool guy. Like he's always been this really noble leader, and like, man, he's a hero. It's like, dude, he was a fucking wearing some plastic shit in the first film.
Yeah, he was shooting
you can
at
explore
him.
that. Yeah,
and they don't.
Instead, he's on a wild goose chase finding stuttering Benicio del Toro. What the fuck is this, man?
Oh, that's the other thing. Like, they go to that planet looking for the guy with the lapel, right? And they find him, but he's playing craps or whatever, so they get thrown into like a cell.
And there just happens to be
a
code breaker there.
A code breaker. I'm like, oh my god, stop. Stab me in the face, please.
I kind of like those horsey things, and then that's where we met the fucking kids who have the Force also. But those horse things were interesting. But the whole thing could have been cut.
Well, you could have done that. You could have done, kids somewhere without having to do that. You could have done that.
I don't know. When they're on the fucking horses and they're like rampaging through the city, I'm like, am I watching Jumanji?
Yeah,
What is
I
this?
like Jumanji.
You know
What
what's
am I
funny?
watching?
Actually, another thing.
Yeah, Jumanji. That's a good call out right there.
Jumanji.
My brother,
Or like a Harry Potter movie.
Right.
my brother said too. You know, because like I said, he's a casual fan, and he's like the whole horse scene. He's like, I felt like this is what my brother's saying, not me. He's like, I felt like they were trying too hard to do like those wacky Star Wars mid-movie adventures, and they were doing the forced Star Wars humor. And I read an interview with Ryan Johnson. He was talking about the humor part, and he said it was all intentional. Like all that stuff was he wanted the feel of the Star Wars films, which, yeah, I kind of get it, but at the same time, they just all kind of fell flat.
Is this the worst Star Wars ever?
No, Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Yes,
I don't know. I don't remember the other
Phantom
ones.
Menace is way worse.
I don't
It's
know
got
what
that-
is Phantom Menace.
It's the episode one.
Yes, episode with the little kid going,
Yeah, which you can just ignore that whole movie.
I just watched that. They just had the prequels on, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. It's all horribly directed, horribly acted, but the stories in those movies are very good. It's just the way they're carried out is the problem.
Well, Phantom Menace?
The whole prequel trilogy.
Yeah, they hired the worst fucking actors. Like, that's why this movie has good actors.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
And they're
Hayden
acting really
Christensen
good.
could never
And
fucking
it's
pull it.
done well, but just that those Lucas ones, like the performances are so dog shit.
They're
like you
so
can't.
stiff.
Like, Natalie Portman is the
Yeah.
only one that's even decent, and even
No,
she's
Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was the best part.
yeah.
Mace
He was the
Windu. Like, I just don't think Lucas is good at directing actors.
No, he's not. He's not a
In
good
Phantom
director.
Menace, like Anakin's mother is a slave, but you never ever feel like she's oppressed. She's just like going about her
I know,
day.
everyone's happy and like
Yeah.
he's a cute little kid. Well, that's what like a Phantom Menace. Like this was Darth
I'm
Vader.
like, this
This
kid's
cute.
got a robot. He's a slave. His mom's a slave. He's got a fucking robot in his house.
I don't know if I wanted to see Darth Vader as a cute little kid. What are you showing me here? But look, that's the overall look. This guy, Hollywood Reporter, this guy wrote this article that finally kind of put into words what's been bugging me about these movies, and I couldn't figure out what it was because I kept going back and forth. Basically, the point that at the end of Return of the Jedi, where everything's hopeful, everything you cared about, all the kind of the politics of the galaxy and the good versus evil, it's all like undone off screen before these movies, and everyone is even in a worse position than they were. Before, which I get. Look, sometimes that's life. Your heroes grow old. It's hard to watch your heroes grow old and fail. But the movie, all it needs to do is make sense and be consistent with what comes before it, and it fails to do that.
Well, I read that article too, and I think I commented that when I saw Force Awakens, I agreed with everything that guy said, because I'm like, how did they make this planet-sized weapon and nobody noticed? And how come the Republic has no power? And why are the Jedis... Like, why did this all go to shit?
It all went to shit, and they don't tell us why, or there's no hint of it.
Why.
So, and even more,
What was it? I thought the end of Force Awakens was okay, and then now in this one they were like, yeah, there's like no one left.
And it starts after
they
that
blew
movie.
up the Starkiller base.
Yeah,
right.
They fucking trashed the First Order to
exactly
hardly anything.
So the Resistance.
I was like, am I misremembering or
the
what's going on here?
Resistance, gives them a solid victory over the First Order at the end of the first movie. This movie picks up pretty very close where that ended off, and it's flipped again. Now they're on the run, and the First Order has all this power. Like, what the fuck happened?
But that's what that article said. They were like, how did the First Order regroup in a matter of hours and have the Resistance on the run? And I was like, yeah, when did that happen? They destroyed the Starkiller base with like thousands of new First Order troopers on it. Like, when did this happen? Like, why are they on the run?
That's the problem. Is the Force Awakens, this movie, you don't care because you don't see the First Order bullying planets around.
Why do you think? But let's look at the long. Let's look at the long game.
Yeah.
What are they trying to achieve? Are they just trying to be different be different? Are they trying to throw out? In my opinion, they're trying to throw out the religious aspect of the Jedi. They don't want you to train. They don't want you to be a monk.
Unfortunate.
Because
I like the religious aspect. In Rogue One, when the guy's like, the Force is one, and the Force is with me, or whatever, I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was the best part.
They don't want to have an order. They don't want to promote a religion where you have to like give up stuff that you want, whatever, because that's not cool. Like, I want to see my Jedis get laid. So it's like, I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to cast away all of these things that made the Jedis these like white knights. And they're trying to cast all that out. and change up everything, but then it's not going to be Star Wars anymore.
Right.
Like, at what point does it stop being Star Wars?
The movie is telling you, let it go, kill the past if you have to. This is a move away from the Skywalkers, and these new kids are moving to the future. And the fact that, yes, anyone can have Force powers, I think...
But that's not a new idea.
No, but yeah. No,
Watch
I agree.
Rebels.
Yeah.
Watch Rebels. The whole show is about nothing to do with Skywalkers.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And like, they've been doing that shit for years. There's been plenty of things, video games, all kinds of Star Wars canon that has nothing to do with Star Wars.
Those don't make them $1 billion. So nobody's, they don't care what goes on over there. This is making them billions of dollars. I just think this movie is more of a commentary on like the fandom and the franchise than it is a movie. It's a commentary of a Star Wars movie.
This is what I'll tell anyone. Go watch Star Wars Rebels or Clone Wars. You will see great sword battles. I mean, I didn't really like the sword battles in this movie. I thought they were very clumsily done and like not very dynamic. I've seen way better sword battles on fucking cartoons, like way more dramatic, like crazier shit happening, whatever. This is very like, you know, it was cool, but it was very like controlled and almost like a stripped down like choreography. It wasn't like I felt like Kylo Ren, like, you want to see that Kylo Ren is a master, right?
Yeah.
You see how Count Dooku, like, would wield the lightsaber and just, like, so, like, flawlessly and, like, you know, like a ninja or a samurai.
Dude, one of those red background guards was giving him problems. Like, he needed help. He couldn't take down the fucking faceless guard. You're the next supreme leader, you fucking asshole. What is this?
Yeah.
Think about the Jedi lightsaber battle at the end of Return of the Jedi between Luke and Darth Vader. Like, that shit still holds up, dude. It's beautiful. It's gorgeously shot. I love that choreography. Like, that'll always be one of the top battles for me.
Right. I mean, there's so many great battles, lightsaber battles. I mean, there's like the one, even with the guy with the double lightsabers. What's his name?
Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul?
No, the other guy.
The round, and he turned into the round thing?
Yeah, he turns into like a spider.
Is that Plagueis? Darth Plagueis?
Oh, no, Grievous. General Grievous.
Yeah, General Grievous.
Grievous.
Like, that was Obi-Wan and Grievous, and then there's the one with Yoda versus Dooku. Like, those are all
Yoda
great.
is badass, yes. I mean, I liked Rey and Kylo, the back-to-back, but I thought he was turning. Like, now he's helping her, but then he's still pissed at him.
Yeah, that was over so fast.
I don't understand. Yes, like, all of a sudden he's pissed at him, and he still fucking wants to do it. You know what? What's funny is on that link, the article mentions how there's so many missed opportunities, like we talked about, like who is Snoke, who is Rey's parents, what is the backstory of any of these things. And then Jacob Usowitz, I went to art school with him, Pratt Institute, the only art school in the country.
Oh, shut the fuck
But
up.
he pointed out that this is what they did with Force Awakens. They sell books with the backstory of these characters, so that's why you get nothing in the movies.
But that goes back
Very
to like
sneaky.
when I made that comment about these homework movies that J.J. Abrams started, where you can't just get the full experience from the cinema anymore. You have to go home and fucking study.
Yeah.
Play the alternate reality game, or altered reality game, augmented reality game, whatever the ARG stands for.
I just don't know, like, we're 2 movies in, all right? We're like 5 hours into the new trilogy, and I don't know where it's going. I remember the original trilogy had, you know, the first movie, then the second movie had the big reveal of Darth Vader, and then the climactic showdown. I'm guessing the climactic showdown is Kylo and Rey, but I feel like there's no weight to that.
Oh, there wasn't a lot of weight to much of it.
But they've been fighting in every movie, so it's already like, I always thought the big payoff was going to be Luke Skywalker. Like coming back and kicking ass.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for him to go out in a blaze of glory. And he might not be dead. He might be in the Force. He might reconstitute himself or whatever.
He'll be a Force ghost in the next movie. You better believe it.
That will destroy the next movie. If you just fucking jerked everyone around and made him think that he's dead and he comes back in some way other than like a ghost.
What they need to do is have Kylo Ren and Rey go like Mortal Kombat Annihilation style and turn into their bestiality modes.
Oh, yeah.
And then fight each other, because then it's on.
That's not how the
like
Force
Donkey
works,
Kong.
Anthony. That's not
how that works?
Not how the Force
I thought you could Skype.
You can. You can.
If you could Skype, you can do anything.
I think that when Puppet Yoda called down lightning, that showed like, okay, the ghost Force projection or the Force Ghost
Can interact.
with reality and not just be seen by someone.
That's a huge game changer because they never did that shit before.
Like, what if Luke Skywalker comes back
and he can fight?
Throw some lightning and destroys everybody.
I didn't understand how those fucking gold dice were projections the whole time, but there were people who were holding them, but if they weren't real, like that was very...
Kylo Ren got water on his hand. They're setting something up.
That was... Okay, yeah, it was confusing. You get no payoff, just more questions.
I still don't know why Luke died.
Well, you don't know. Look, you don't know what the New Republic stands for. You don't know what the Resistance role is anything. You don't know what the First Order fucking wants. You don't know why everyone hates... Why the First Order hates the New Republic. They don't fill in any of these things. They give you nothing.
No, they just...
and so you don't care.
It's just the same old story of the good guys versus the evil guys.
See, I always had this thought that the Jedis became powerful, right? This idea that there is a being that could do all this crazy shit, and they were completely rigid in their beliefs, right? They were like, they gave up everything. They were very balanced, whatever. And these motherfuckers, they had a whole order of people.
Yeah.
Like they had like people from every alien race as Jedi.
Yep.
And they would send those motherfuckers out to go and police everything. And the Sith, they're like, oh, we're not going to take this. We're going to fucking get rid of these Jedi. So that was like the master plan all along, was to get rid of the Jedi.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and the Republic and all that stuff all happened when they got the anti-Jedis, the Sith, together and started plotting to take over to basically so they can do what they want and not be like policed by these guys. And I think that's what was the main internal conflict. But now there's no more Jedi.
And there's no conflict. There's no conflict. That's what I keep saying is like, what's the conflict? It's just bad guys versus good guys. Well, now what's left of the good guys? Because basically the entire resistance is on the Millennium Falcon at this point.
Yeah, right.
What happens? 6 people. So it's like,
man, got the kids, Bran.
You gotta get the kids.
Don't forget about the kids.
Look, make no mistake. This is one thing I do know for sure. This is the fucking movie Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy wanted. Why? Because
they gave Rian Johnson another trilogy.
They've given him 3 more trilogies. He got to do
3 more movies.
3 more trilogies. Right. 9 more fucking movies. No,
9 more movies for Rian
look
Johnson.
at what they've done. They have fired directors while they're filming the movie. They have fired directors before they start filming the movie. They've gone in after it's done and changed the ending without the director's input. Now with Rian Johnson, he either played like a good little boy and bent over and did everything, or they just love him. He got to do whatever he wanted. So whatever this is the future. This is the direction. This is exactly what where they want to go. It's the future of Star Wars.
Do you think now that there is a palpable negative reaction that they're going to switch gears?
Well, J.J. Abrams in the 3rd movie could undo all of this and just put it back and troll us again and say, fuck you, back to Rian Johnson.
Well, you can't put it back.
You can tell us that Rey is somebody. He can still make her a relative.
Mm-hmm.
You could bring, I don't know. He could do a lot to undo some of this.
Well, how do you do the kill the past and
kill the past?
And when you have, okay, it's one thing if you have Kylo Ren saying kill the past, but when you have Luke Skywalker and Yoda saying kill the past, let the books burn.
Those books, though, are actually in the Millennium Falcon. Did you guys catch that?
Is that a fact?
Or
is that just
there was a quick shot where I think you saw them in the Millennium Falcon under when he grabs his bag.
Right.
Rumor is who put him in there. I don't know, Luke or Rey or somebody.
Maybe Rey stole them.
So the books aren't dead, but I was shocked. Or Chewbacca. Fucking Chewie ate a pork. So how do you mature this franchise? Because
we still talking about this.
You can't cater to the same fan base for 40 years. How do you honor?
I think they've already done it. It's called Rebels, and it's called
Star Wars
their
Rebels.
TV shows. Just do what they're doing there. They're world building. You're learning so much about like the Mandalorians and where Boba Fett came from and all of these different things and all of this shit. It's all there. It's all world building and it's all interesting because you're going down on the ground level and you're not painting with these broad strokes. You're telling the story of this ragtag group, and that's all that matters. And it's in the context of everything. But you're just when you're doing these Star Wars movies, you're trying to you're fighting wars with people. With 2 people instead of them people are in a war and the war they're just a small part of it. Same thing with Rogue One. Rogue One is just them, these guys that doing this one mission. That's what, and then you could do whatever you want to tell the story for that mission. You know, this is like they're trying to. It's like Rocky and Drago, like fighting for the entire country. They're representing these people. It's like there's too much stuff there.
There's a lot of stuff.
You got galaxies of fucking planets, and there's too much there. You got to take it down to a smaller level.
I mean, I hope the next movie has a time jump because I think them starting right where it ended I didn't like that. I like when there's time between episodes and then stuff happens so that you don't have to pick right up.
They can not acknowledge that.
Yeah, so they can not acknowledge whatever happened between them. All right, look.
But even if there's like a big reveal, like let's say with Rey's parents or whatever, who gives a fuck? It's the third movie. Like this was the movie to do all that stuff in, and they just fucking blew it.
Do you think this kills the franchise? Is this hurt them without?
No. I think Star Wars sells itself. I mean, the thing, how much did it make already? It's like $500 million.
$500 million worldwide
at this point.
It's a sure thing.
And we're gonna have Star Wars movies every year for the next 10 years, if not longer.
Solo, baby.
Solo. Here's the thing that's never happened before. In just 5 months, we could do this all over again when the Han Solo movie comes out. That's been completely reshot by Ron Howard in its last few months of production. We'll see what a train wreck that is. That's going to be interesting. And then December 2019, episode 9, and hopefully...
So did we say everything that we wanted to say about this movie?
Final thoughts? Do you want to rank it in the movies? I really want to know, did you like it better or worse than Force Awakens?
I like Force Awakens better.
Really?
Yeah. Because even though I had my doubts about Rey and Finn, like wielding the lightsaber and her holding her own against Kylo Ren, and I thought that was a huge fucking thing that I hate. There's more problems with this with The Last Jedi than there is Force Awakens.
Okay.
There's just way too many, because at the end of The Force Awakens, there's still possibilities. All right. And in here, they killed every possibility.
They killed all.
I mean, they opened up a bunch of possibilities for the Force to have no rules. And I don't know if I liked the fact I liked that there was rules. So, and they're telling me that they have to kill the past, which is the only reason that you're successful is because you have the past. And I don't like this idea of pissing on the past to make room for the future because, all the good ideas have already been thought of. So I don't know what you guys there's no respect for that shit, obviously.
Anthony, better or worse did you like than Force Awakens?
I liked Force Awakens better. I thought that show was more entertaining. If I had to rate this movie, I would give it a 2.5 out of 10. And I will never want to watch this movie again.
Wow, okay.
That is 2.5 hours of my life that
never get back.
Could have been used in much more productive
ways. That's pretty clear. Bellotti, better or worse than Force Awakens?
This is not going to make sense, but I wasn't as pissed off and angry with this as I was with Force Awakens. And I don't know if that's because I lowered my expectations for this one because you guys were telling me that, what the fuck did I just watch? So I was like, I have to see what this dumpster fire is.
Yeah.
So I think I was like, oh, okay, that was pretty much as bad as everyone said it was. But now that we're talking about it, I think Force Awakens was better. But if I was to rank it, I mean, within the regular if I had to rank it out of all the Star Wars films, I'd put this in the bottom, but Force Awakens and Phantom Menace as the bottom 3 for me.
That's pretty good.
I'll take Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith with the really awkward, awful directing than this movie. That's how much I didn't like it.
All right, that's interesting. You want to give it a score?
2.
Ruggs, what's your score?
Wow, I'm gonna score it a lot higher than everybody else did. If I'm gonna put this in context with all the other Star Wars movies, it's obviously way behind the original trilogy.
Yeah, they all are. You can't top the OT.
And it's somewhere. It's probably. I put The Force Awakens before the newer trilogy. Then you have the old trilogy, and then at the very, very end you have this movie, The Last Jedi, Attack of the Clones are tied, and then the Phantom Menace is dead last.
Where's Rogue One?
Rogue One is probably, I would say, right there with Return of the Jedi for me.
Is that top 2 for you, Rogue One, or top 3?
Rogue One is top 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Rogue One it's top 2 for me. It's Empire, then Rogue One.
Yeah, I think it's Empire, Return of the Jedi, Rogue One, and A New Hope are like tied for me.
Yeah.
And then you got the rest. I give this movie like a 5. A 5 because I was dazzled. I did see things that I really liked, and I really liked the acting and some of the directing. Like, it was so inconsistent. It's like, that's why I was so like torn, because like there is moments where this is like, there is some great shit that I'm seeing. And
Right.
I mean, the beautiful like salt planet with the red and all of the like it was just so beautiful to see. And that Millennium Falcon rescue was fucking badass. There was some badass shit there, and even like that moment with Snoke, where he gets killed is badass, and then the suicide thing was badass, and you know, Luke talking to Yoda was cool, and Luke talking to R2-D2 was cool. So there was like cool shit,
Absolutely.
and I liked, but like overall, like they fucking made so many
Weird
egregious
choices.
moves,
Yeah.
weird choices,
Yeah.
and just things I wouldn't do with the story that I felt like hurt the story. They robbed us of that like real cool Luke moment, and I just don't think Luke would have acted like that. I just really don't think that's my Luke Skywalker, and which is fine. But so I'll give it a 5. It was because I'm like right down the middle. There's things I liked and there's things I hated. I don't understand why this movie's getting so much praise. I don't understand why people don't acknowledge that the story, a lot of it was pointless.
Yeah.
And the character arcs were non-existent. Nobody learned anything new. Like Rey still, you know, maybe she acknowledged that her parents were pieces of shit and that she was suppressing that. That's the only thing that happened. You know, Kylo Ren didn't grow.
No.
He didn't turn.
No.
He just knows that he has the hots for Rey. That's all he realized.
I really thought they were leading to like they were going to be siblings. Like it felt like that. And then again, unexpected, they do that. But Rey still doesn't know what her fucking part is in any of this and is not closer to learning anything.
Right. And Luke didn't do anything. Luke just, you know, he cashed it out. He was already cashed out. He was cashed out before. He didn't want anything to do with anything. He locked himself away. So what's the difference between him locking himself away from the rest of the world than him not being there at all? There's not a real difference. It's either he's back. That's the only progression for him to be away and to be back. That's the complete opposite direction. So he's not back. He's gone. So it's like, what do we get? We got nothing.
We got nothing. We're back at square one.
Well, let me ask you guys a really provocative question about this. This is about the original Star Wars trilogy. Do you think those movies are overrated? Do you like what I'm saying is, do you think they get too much praise because?
No, because I'll tell you why. I think if you look at them now, yeah, you can't watch them and not notice how dated they are,
right?
And how bad they are but at the time,
it's revolutionary.
There was nothing like
shit,
that.
yeah.
There was just nothing that I guess ambitious. So they are overrated. If you watch them now, you're like, well, they're not really good movies. But at the time, they had nothing like that. So you're like, okay, well, I guess it was good for the time.
Dude, think about the first one. It's 1977, and this movie drops you into the middle of some weird, convoluted galactic empire bullshit that you read, drops you right into this foreign world with people with masks, and is unapologetic. And people are like, what the shit is this? Like, I can't imagine what they must have thought.
Not to cut you off, but like just going back to like A New Hope, like.
Cut his ass off. Everyone sucks, dick.
Oh, shit.
Like in A New Hope.
Get your hand off my penis!
You know,
there's anything wrong with that.
Talking about like Finn and Rose meeting just happened to be in the same cell as a codebreaker. Can you say that about New Hope? Like Luke just happens to meet these droids.
It's a lot of the same thing. Luke is a nobody. Rey was a nobody. You don't really know anything about the Emperor. You don't really know anything about Snoke.
But John, when you have to factor in 40 years of filmmaking, 40 years of tropes, 40 years of like, okay, we can't do that anymore. That's old hat. You know, like you have to evolve beyond doing that shit. You can't just be like, well, they did it in that movie that was 40 years ago, so we can do it in this movie. Well, you can, but should you?
No, you have to. It's got to change. You can't do the same shit.
What I'm saying is that there was a lot of like stupid coincidences, or I should say convenient coincidences in the original movie. But just because that's in Star Wars lore doesn't mean that you have to redo that, which is what my issue with Force Awakens was, where I was like, they're sending in like 3 people to destroy Starkiller Base, and my cousin at the time was like, oh, but that's like Star Wars. I'm like, no, that's fucking stupid. That's not Star Wars. That's just dumb. But like, we've evolved as filmmakers and as an audience to not accept this stupid shit anymore. Like
we're all more sophisticated.
Exactly. You just stole the word right out of.
I mean, how many times can you tell the same story over and over?
Just
again?
Because it's part of.
Okay, let me give you my rank. Here's my rank, and I'll give you a score.
Are you going to give us your recommendations too? I can't wait.
I have 12 recommendations after this.
Everyone gives this movie a 7.5.
And I have 13 emails to read. No emails, no recommendations. No, okay, so Star Wars movies, I'm going to put Return of the Jedi on top for me, just because of the emotional value, what it meant, it got me in everything. After that, Empire, Star Wars. Then I put Rogue One. Then I would actually put Revenge of the Sith, because you get to see Anakin become Darth Vader. Then I would put, this is where it gets tricky. Then I think I would put Attack of the Clones, because at least there was some original shit in there. And then, even though I'm going to rate the movie low in this rank, I have to say I will. The Last Jedi slightly edges out Force Awakens, just because Force Awakens was so safe, and so I was like, I'd seen everything.
Man, Imran, you should look back in your Force Awakens review, bro.
No, I mean, I think I said it. I was like, this is it's a reset. It's everything we've seen already done again.
I think you liked it way more than you're giving it credit for right now.
I'm gonna rate the movie lower than what I rated Force Awakens, but I rank it higher because it took some chances. It took a risk, and I was just really upset with the fucking same story that I already seen. Like, where that movie ended is what the movie I wanted to see. Now, what he gave us is completely crazy, but that's why I'll put it just above, and then Force Awakens at the bottom. But I'll still give it a 6. This movie is a 6 in terms of the execution of how it came out. Does that make sense?
We got 2s and 5 and a 6.
I'm not surprised, Imran, to give this the highest score.
That's good.
I'm glad I don't think you've ever given a movie lower than a 6.
Well, I like Star Wars, so I like Star Wars. Me too. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I just was very disappointed in this film, in a lot of ways. I mean, it's still not beyond redemption. I would still watch it. Maybe not all in one sitting, because it's 2.5 hours long, and a lot of it's unnecessary. But I would definitely I love Godzilla, the movie Godzilla, but the American version. But I only watch the last 20 minutes. So I only watch I'll watch the scene where they fight in the Red Room. I'll watch the end.
Fast forward through, because it does have a lot of great moments. I'll forward through all the bullshit and enjoy the great moments. Just like Titanic. Just start watching it when the ship hits the fucking iceberg halfway through the movie. Then the movie's
you can watch when she gets naked. Yeah,
you can fast forward and pause there and then start there. Everything else,
it there, and then
everything in between all that is to complete
your fucking meat.
After you wake up from your nap, watch the boat sink.
Yeah. Geek boner. Absolutely. Once you come out of your stupor there. So, look, okay, before we let John Bellotti go, I got to ask him, since he works in the entertainment industry, Bellotti, the big news, Disney buying Fox, what is your view on this? What do you see it changing things in the future?
I can't speak for my union, but I know the Writers Guild is pissed off about it because they feel like it's limiting opportunities for them.
One less studio to pitch to?
I've worked for Disney doing... what was I doing? I was working at a scene shop. I was doing some Broadway shows for Disney.
Painting Mickey's penis.
You were painting his penis?
Painting Goofy's balls. No, I was doing some, they had the Disney cruise ships at the time. I don't know if they still have them. And they were doing Mamma Mia and all those Broadway shows. So I was working on that. And I remember Disney being really strict. We had to write down the paint we used on what set and what's in it.
Wow.
And yeah, it was really tedious shit, and they were the only ones that were like that. And I remember them being pretty tight-fisted and pretty anal about a lot of stuff. So,
a tight fist up the anal.
That sounds hot, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to be good for the Hollywood industry as a whole moving forward?
No, because what's happening is that Hollywood in general is getting a lot of competition from streaming services,
Correct.
Hulu, and Netflix is spending ridiculous amounts of money. Hulu. Someone just bought the rights to Lord of the Rings for $250 million.
Just for the rights to make
a
prequel series.
That's the budget for Avengers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So Hollywood is sort of shaking. They're like, well, what do we do? So Disney's basically trying to acquire as many IPs as humanly possible within the legal rights of any corporation just to, compete. I mean, how many franchises? They bought 20 franchises?
Everything. They bought everything.
Right.
You don't even need to make them. They just need to own them.
Just own them and then make the money off of that.
I think they're going to set up Hulu as a Netflix killer very soon.
Well, not only that, Disney's releasing their own streaming. So it sounds like it's like the Hollywood studios, the old studios, the big six, whatever, sort of they're knocked back on their heels a little bit. And this is basically a reaction to it. I'm not worried about my place in the industry because if, let's say, Hollywood's not making movies, you're going to better believe that Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Apple are going to be making movies too. Like we have a lot of stuff shooting in New York. That's all for streaming
movies
services.
and TV shows, right? Absolutely,
Right.
Completely for streaming services.
Yeah,
same budget, same kind of production, same scale.
Budgets.
Yeah.
The Get Down. I know people that worked on it, and it was a fucking nightmare to work on.
Oh my God! Why did they spend so much money on that show?
Because of Baz Luhrmann. Because he was a first time director. He was overwhelmed. He was very difficult to work with. He wanted the world, and you can't do that with TV, and you can't tax your production crews. But yeah, it's there's always going to be work for this stuff. It's just that the distribution of the media is what's changing. So
they're trying to keep up.
This is basically a knee-jerk reaction. They can't make a Fight Club anymore. They can't make a Pulp Fiction. I keep going back to those
Fight Club.
They own them now, but the movies like that aren't going to be released in theaters anymore. Now it's like micro-budget, low-budget films, and then the giant tentpole films that are mass marketed, broad appeal. That's why the diversity has gone up in films because they're now selling it to the whole world.
It's possible the smaller films they can make for the streaming services for different platforms, and we get nothing but large, big budget fucking tentpoles in the theaters.
Right, and I think Ruggs has said it too about the whole dumbing down of a lot of these movies to make them sort of available to audiences all over the world because. It's a global market now. It's globalization. It's how we're making our money.
The government is holding hearings. The antitrust subcommittees are holding hearings. They're going to take a look at this. So it's not done until it's done. And it could take 18 months, but it's very fucking crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Also, I've noticed there's no budget for this movie either, just like Justice League. Is this a new thing where they just don't put out their production budget anymore? This is like the second time.
Really? They didn't release a production
on
budget?
Box Office Mojo production budget not available. Justice League still, I believe, never disclose their production budget officially.
Well, I know
She lost money.
I know for Last Jedi, I read that Rian Johnson wanted 160 sets built, which is fucking insane for us. That's insane. That's insane. And the writer was like, well, they want 160 sets built, and we have 150 days to shoot it. That's going to be kind of tough. So he had to
but there wasn't even 160 locations.
Yeah, you got 160 places to shoot.
You got
in
a
this
ship?
thing? What the fuck?
The inside of a garage, the outside of a garage.
An island?
Well, you got to remember too, like for every scene that you see is basically a new set. You know what I mean? Like, they had the ship set, and they had the cave set, and then they had
the fucking casino city. All that shit.
The casino city, the prison. The beach scene, where the ship crashes. They had the flight deck or whatever of the different ships and everything. There was a lot of sets, plus blue screen sets.
A lot of,
they had Octo. They had those sets. It's a lot. You don't realize how many sets go into these things, but that's a lot of sets.
And no one ever considers the crew people like Bellotti. Man, John, thanks for your opinions.
He speaks for the little guy.
He speaks for the little guy.
He represents the underrepresented.
That's right. And you know what's funny? In high school...
Good thing he's tall.
High school theater, the crew people were always like in their own clique. Like they were like the theater nerds. And then like all the actors, they would all hang out and they were like the cool fucking people. Like I always remember that.
I wasn't a theater nerd. In high school, I was like a fucking...
I like how everyone just characterizes what Bellotti is.
He's talking about himself.
Yes.
I hate theater. Like, no, I was like I was the musician. I was a drummer, like a heavy metal drummer.
He's the rock
and I was
star,
a comic book artist. And I hated theater. I got into it just to get into movies.
Remember, Bellotti, when you really like something, your opinion is now null and void because Imran said so.
I know.
That's not what I said.
I'm a Godzilla fanboy. I like anything Godzilla.
You're just a fanboy,
that
dude.
was
You
edited
can't see.
together by other pieces of my voice to say that. That's
Fake
not
news.
true. Fake
It's all
news.
fake
Fake
news.
news. Bellotti, thanks for your opinion on this. Why don't you tell the listener where they can find your artwork and pimp your shit? Let's sell some stuff.
Ooh, that would be very splendid. My website is robo7.com. It's ROBO, the number 7.com. And it features all of my Godzilla artwork. And you could also buy t-shirts and prints, which is all there on my Robo7 page. That's ROBO number 7.com, robo7.com. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram as Robo7 as well.
And he's in our Facebook group, I believe. Have you joined our group?
Oh, yeah, I'm always ranting and raving on your page.
Listen, if the listener is the slightest Godzilla fan at all, I highly recommend you check out his artwork. It's fantastic. You buy a print, you frame it, get some
Good
t-shirts.
stuff.
It's very,
Thanks,
very
guys.
good stuff. You
Rug
do.
boy approved.
Good word.
you.
It's definitely.
That would wake me up. I'll talk about that. His art is good. Not like this Star Wars bullshit.
Anthony is not a fan. Thanks for hanging in there, Anthony. I feel bad. You could force me to watch the fucking sports movie. We can review it. How about that?
No, that's fine.
You can put me through the same torture.
Ooh, do you have any
I
good
wanted to be a part of the conversation.
Do you have any good sports movies? I like sports too. You know that.
Yeah, Sandlot.
I'll definitely do a sports
Sandlot?
movie with you.
A League of Their Own.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Creed. I still have to
Creed
see
is
it.
good.
It's
Creed
good.
is
Major
good.
League.
Major League. Yeah, that's good movies.
That's all good.
Rocky.
Raging Bull.
Rocky, Raging Bull.
Raging Bull. Yeah, there's a ton of good sports movies. Fuck sports though, dude. We're not talking about.
We're not talking about
sports.
sports. Rugs, where can the people find you online?
Oh, really, Rug Boy on Twitter.
There he is. Give him a follow. Listener, thanks for hanging out. That's been the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Make sure you leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Let's grow Jock and Nerd Nation. Go up to the next person you see. Give them one of these. Jock and Nerd. And then tell them they're very sexy. No, don't do that. We'll get in trouble. Just do the Jock and Nerd part. But thanks for listening.
Slap him on the ass.
Slap him on the ass.
Throw a little like one finger up there too. Ooh.
Just a little.
Let's
just
go.
A little wiggle.
Anthony's thinking about the rest of his night.
Anthony is anxious to get somewhere. So this has been the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the
We'll
nerd.
peep you next time, fam.
And use a condom.
Make sure you wrap that up in a Jimbrowski. It's a
Better without. It's better without it.
Jimmy hat. It's all about the Jimmy hat.
Gotta have a strong
Raw
pull-out.
dogging it.
Oh man,
Raw dogging it.
my timing is not so good.
Raw dog.
Raw dog. We're just going up the butt.
Are you waiting to receive
Hot dog.
my limp penis?
Or burning pee.